If you're sick and tired of burning through gloves every few weeks and spending more than enough money on them, you are in the right place. So I've tried almost all of the options on the market, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the best premium golf gloves of 2020. So what we're talking about in this video are what gloves are the best overall, which gloves are best in certain conditions, which ones I've personally been using, and the cheapest place to pick them up. And then if you want to see a demo of any of them, then be sure to check out the full review and demo down below. Before we get started, I want to just mention our gear giveaway. So if you want to enter in, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment giveaway down below. Do those three things to be automatically entered. So number 5 is going to be the Finger 10 Winter. If you're looking for a good golf glove that works well in rain and colder months, this could be for you. It's not going to be what you want to use for most of the year, but if it does get cold as it does here where I am, you're going to want to have it just in case. Out of all the other cold weather gloves I've tried, these have definitely been the best. They are warm, they're wind resistant, and they're also waterproof. They also aren't overly big and bulky like some of the other ones, so you can still feel the club when you are holding it. I would recommend you spend an hour or two breaking them in, just because they can be a little bit stiff, but after that, they are fairly comfortable. I've had my set for a couple of years now and they're still perfectly fine. You know, I'm sure you've been out on the course on a wet day and had your gloves completely soaked through. You know, it's going to dry all hard and crusty and it's going to eventually crack, so that's not going to happen with this one, and that's why I would recommend having a pair. So let's go over the pros. So they are warm and waterproof. The quality is top notch. You can still putt with them on, and then my hands didn't sweat too much in them either. Cons, they're a bit stiff at first, so you have to break them in a good. They aren't as comfortable and flexible as a standard golf glove, which is kind of expected, but they are relatively good and they are better than most of the other ones on the market. And then they could use a bit more grip in my opinion, but again, overall, they are better than most of the other ones on the market. Number 4 is going to be the Bionic StableGrip golf gloves. If your hands do get sore and tired after playing a round of golf, then these gloves could be for you. They do have extra padding on them where the pressure points are, and that's going to help you have a more comfortable grip. They also do have some fabric on them that's going to help make them more breathable and flexible compared to a standard leather glove, which I do really like myself. So the glove is a little bit thicker than your standard leather glove, so it might take a bit of time getting used to, but I do think it's really going to help you out if you tend to grip the club too tightly. So the extra padding is going to help. It's going to make it feel like you're gripping it tighter than you actually are, which should help your game. But the main thing I noticed with this glove was the quality. So I've generally used leather or fake leather gloves in the past, and they'd always harden or crack after a month or so. So this glove has lasted me a lot longer, which is all I can really ask for. So pros, it's extremely comfortable. It's more breathable than most leather gloves. It's lasted longer than most standard leather gloves. Cons, it could be a bit too thick for some. The padding takes a little bit of time getting used to, but other than that, it is a really solid glove. Number 3 is going to be the Titleist Players glove. If you do like a more traditional leather glove, then this could be for you. I don't use them anymore myself, but this one seems to be the longest lasting and most comfortable one out there. I do like it a lot more than other leather gloves from TaylorMade, Callaway, and FootJoy. It's going to be a bit thinner than most of the other gloves on this list, and that's going to help. It's going to help you give more feel, like you actually feel the club really, really well. That being said, I do like having a glove that's a little bit more breathable and one that lasts a bit longer. So my hands do end up sweating, and I do end up burning through a lot of leather gloves. So these have been a big improvement, and I've ended up spending less money. It is the most comfortable of this style though, and I do think it lasts a bit longer as well. If you do prefer a standard leather glove, then go with the Titleist Players glove. So pros, it's extremely comfortable. It's the longest lasting pure leather glove. It grips well in all in wet conditions. Cons, it's not as breathable as the glove I use. The palm doesn't last as long as some. That's for me personally, just because my hand does sweat. It ends up drying hard and cracking. But if you don't have that problem, then the palm could last you a good amount of time. Number 2 is going to be the Callaway X Span glove. But if you are like me and get sweaty hands on hot summer days, then you're probably going to want to use a glove with mesh backing. This is exactly that, and it's one of my favorite gloves to wear. It's not the best in wet or cold weather, but it works well 90% of the time. So the top is a mesh material that lets your hand breathe, and then the bottom is leather. I do like this type of glove because it gives me a bit more flexibility compared to a leather glove, And then there's also no Velcro strap on it, which you might like or you might not. There's definitely some pros and cons to that. But the palm on this glove is super well built and has lasted me a long time. The seam on one of the fingers actually started to tear after a while, but the main reason I use a glove like this is because of how good it feels to wear. So even if it's not quite as durable on the top or the finger, I'll definitely still use it just because of how comfortable it is. Pros, it's way nicer to play with in the summer. The extra flexibility is nice to have, and it's more comfortable than a standard leather glove in my opinion. Cons, the finger seam on mine split apart. It's not always easy to take off because you don't have the, there's no Velcro strap, so you have to kind of pull it off. So that can be a little bit tricky at times. The leather palm does dry and crack after a while as well. So those are the main cons to it, but overall, it is one of the most comfortable gloves I've personally wore. But the number one pick and my current favorite is the CaddyDaddy Claw. So if you like the idea of having a breathable mesh on your gloves, then this could be the perfect glove for you. It's been the one I've been using mainly as of late, and I couldn't imagine playing with anything else. It is pretty similar to the X Span from Callaway, but it does have some improvements. So the first thing I liked more was the Velcro strap, so it makes taking it off and putting it on a lot easier. The second thing was the silicone palm, so it does grip a lot better in my opinion compared to leather, and then it's not going to harden and crack as well. So this was a big deal for me because my hand tends to sweat a bit. Leather would start to dry up and crack after a few rounds, and I'd have to replace them often. So silicone works well in all conditions, and it's not going to absorb moisture. Plus, it doesn't wear out nearly as quick. It's supposed to last 3 to 5 times longer than a leather glove. I don't know if it's exactly 3 to 5 times, but it definitely lasts a lot longer. So you can see in the picture there, the top is pretty much completely like a breathable mesh, and then the palm is a silicone material. It is really grippy. It works well in, if it's wet, it still grips really well, all that kind of stuff. It is the one I've been using and I absolutely love it. Pros, it's the most comfortable, flexible glove I've used. I like the way the grip feels a lot more. And then you can machine wash it as well. Whenever it gets dirty, you just toss it in the wash and you're good to go. Cons, there isn't as much grip on the fingers as leather if you want to interlock or overlap. It's not too bad though, but some people do want that extra grip there. The mesh will tear if you are rough on it, which is kind of expected, but it is definitely my favorite overall, and I would recommend trying it if you haven't already done so. But if you would like to see more images, reviews, or get any of them for the lowest price available, click the link in the description down below. At the time of making this video, that was the cheapest place I could find them, so you can go ahead and check out the current price if you want. And if you do have any questions, simply leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But if you haven't already watched and commented on our latest video, click the video card to the left and get yourself another entry into our golf giveaway.